Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends. Kara and James here, Kerouacs Cruising, and we have a very special guest, our friend Lonnie. You guys have heard a ton about Lonnie over the course of our episodes, so you're actually going to get to meet him.
How I met Lonnie is I was in Williams, Arizona, opening a restaurant, looking for employees, and somebody told me to go down to the local food bank. I walk into the food bank, and the first person I meet is Lonnie, volunteering.
And from then on, we didn't have a choice. We had to be Lonnie's friend.
He is the town of Williams painter.
Was the town of Williams. So speaking of the town of Williams and painting, tell us a little bit, for the sake of everybody who doesn't know you, what your life was like back then, prior to...
I was in Williams for 32 years, off and on. Mm-hmm. That whole town loved me. In 30 years of painting, never had one unhappy customer because I knew how to treat a customer.
Back then, I remember, we all of us, we were all totally different than we are now. We partied a lot.
Yeah, we definitely
drank a lot.
We would meet at the local brewery,
local bars, and just
we
party
drank a lot
until we
back
were in
then.
A stupor. We ate a lot of junk food.
But I will say, back then, we all worked a lot.
Yeah, we did.
And we worked hard, and we
played as hard.
We played as harder.
Yeah, you're right.
I used to make about $5,000 every week, and I was always broke. And now I make $940 a month, and at the end of the month, I still have $200. It's simply amazing. I can't do the mathematics on that.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about all the changes that have happened over the years. So, as a background, drank a lot, smoked a lot, partied a lot. Just
painted a lot.
Yeah. Really.
I got a lot of paint fumes in my lungs.
Yeah. And then in 2020, you got sick. You were already having lung issues, right?
Yeah,
you were already having
I had
issues.
already been self-medicating for at least a year.
Yeah.
Before that. And
yeah.
I still had issues before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've been fighting with lung problems probably for 7 or 8 years.
I figure about 10.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. That's just 5 that I've been on oxygen.
Yeah. So 2020, it all came to a head because you got sick. You got hospitalized from COVID.
January 31st.
Yeah, before they even knew that it was in the United States.
Yeah,
I guess
they had
I
had my own room.
Yeah.
But everything was wide open. They weren't afraid of nothing. They was not wearing masks or anything.
Yeah.
And nothing was all taped up in plastic bubbles.
Yeah.
That tripped me out the next time I went to the ER.
It was how different it was.
It was like, what? They were building plastic bubbles.
So January 31st, 2020, he has a respiratory infection.
Yeah, as far as they're
basically is what they're telling him. And I do remember him just getting a shot of penicillin and on his way to Laughlin to party it up.
No,
for his birthday.
Yeah, for my birthday.
He got out of the hospital in time to drive to Laughlin to party it up and feeling better, not knowing that his illness was going to become a lot worse than he could have anticipated.
But I really got the idea of what I was going to go through for, I thought, the rest of my life. I thought I was going to die within 5 years.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
So he gets on oxygen and pretty much is told he's going to be on permanent oxygen.
And then I got on hospice.
And then he got pneumonia. And pretty much after he had pneumonia, they didn't give him a chance to live, basically. They put him on hospice and said he had till Christmas, basically.
Yeah, right? Wasn't that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tony didn't think I was going to make it to
I remember we all came down and had a big party because we all thought it was going to be the last time we were going to see him.
So we thought he was going to pass. that's what the doctor said. You know, so usually just listen to that.
How long were you on hospce?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
So after 2.5 years living on hospice, pretty much.
First of all, I'm not a person that gives up.
Nope.
You can stand me up at the gates of hell. I'm not going to back down.
Yep.
So, you know, nurses coming in, just giving them, I don't know if you ever been on hospice, but they're pretty much want you to die quickly so they can move on to the next.
They gave me morphine. They gave me whatever I wanted, truthfully.
Just to make you comfortable
Just
for your
because
last
that's
days,
it's about comfort for your last days. So he did that, endured that for 2.5 years, and then called one day and said, no, I'm not going to be on hospice anymore. I'm taking myself off.
Well,
and I want him to go, in his mind's eye, tell that story, because it blows me away that after being on hospice for 2.5 years, he says, I don't want to be on hospice anymore.
Well, actually, it was my dog that took me off of hospice, not me. My dog, I had pneumonia, and it all started on July 4th, and that's the day my dad died. My mom died on the 3rd of July. My dad died on the 4th, and my best friend died on the 5th. Back when I was drinking, I just didn't do those 3 days or the beginning of July at all very well. So I stayed in a stupor. I mean, tequila, Fireball, and Budweiser were my only friends almost. I mean, that's when...
By the end of the weekend, they were the only friends you had left.
Yeah. Truthfully, B stuck it out with me. But my best friend, my BFF, we all hang out together. I mean, we absolutely have a great time together. So on the 4th, I was singing Sticks, and I slammed my fist into my chest, and it felt like my left lung collapsed. And that's when I said, okay, I guess I'm dying now. And I went and climbed in my bed, and my BFF went back up to Williams, and I laid there for 2 weeks, detoxing from beer or alcohol, extreme detoxing. I mean, you're not supposed to do that, and I wouldn't recommend it to you. Definitely have somebody nearby. And Xanax, I was detoxing from. And there's nothing like Xanax to detox from. You feel like little spiders are coming out of your skin. Nothing that you want to do. Especially the two together. Yeah. I had somebody coming by and feeding my dog for the last 2 weeks. And after those 2 weeks, that family had to go and do something. And so my dog was going to be without food for like 2 days until that person got back, or I was going to get off my deathbed. And my dog kept on looking at its bowl and looking at me, looking at its bowl, looking at me, like, Dad, you better get up and feed me. That's your promise to your dad. And I had no choice.
Do you love the idea of dispersed camping or remote travel, but you don't know where to start?
Or maybe you got the wanderlust, but you don't have the time to plan that perfect route. That's where we come in. We spent years exploring the back roads, dispersed camping, finding the most unique spot. And now we're going to offer you that knowledge.
With our remote travel services, we create custom itineraries for you based on your adventure level, your rig, and your personal preferences. So whether you're looking for epic boondocking spots, scenic drives, or hidden gems, we can create an itinerary customized for you. We take the guesswork out of trip planning so you can spend less time researching and more time enjoying the journey.
And the best part is it's affordable, flexible, and completely customized to your needs.
Are you ready to hit the road with confidence? Click the link in the show notes or go to coffee.com/Kerouacs Cruising to get started today.
Let's get you on the road to your next adventure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I got up to feed Harley, and I realized that my mom and my dad both passed away on him. He was laying with both of them when they passed away. And I said I wasn't going to do that to him. So I took myself off of hospice. I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came and got me and took me right to the hospital. And I went into ICU. I ended up coming off of hospice because of my dog.
Yeah.
And I only stayed in the hospital for 3 days, but then they shipped me down to Mesa to the rehab place.
And what happened is when you hit your chest, it was a collapsed lung, but turned into pneumonia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes himself off hospice and now is living in Bullhead on oxygen. No, he's full-time oxygen, but he's doing, you know, as good as can be expected, actually better than expected as far as the medical world was.
Well, I kept on having to crank up my oxygen a little bit by little bit.
Yeah, he's using more and more oxygen, 13% lung capacity.
Well,
and then
it was 15 at that time.
15% lung capacity. And then decides that he's probably fit enough to have a lung transplant. How did that come about?
My pulmonologist in Bullhead, Dr. Rose, I mentioned it to her and she's like, "You want me to check in on it?" And I went, "Yeah, please do." And she checked in on it, and that was 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here without oxygen.
I want to touch on that a little bit because you started the process and then you were taken off the wait list for a while.
A long time.
Yeah. And then you fought to get back on that wait list, and then it seemed like within a month you were going.
Yeah,
I mean, it happened really fast.
Well, I stayed waiting for them to even acknowledge my existence.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, St. Joseph's, great hospital, definitely for transplants. I waited for like 6 months before they even acknowledged me.
Mm-hmm.
Said, "Yeah, we've accepted you to the program. You have to come down and test and everything."
I want to touch on that because that's been a big hurdle.
I really didn't think I was going to actually qualify all the way.
Yeah.
Because I thought they was going to find cancer.
You didn't live a healthy life prior to.
No, what's
so
funny?
You figure you would have had liver issues, heart issues, anything.
My lungs gave out, and I have perfect liver and a perfect kidney. Don't ask me how, because I started drinking when I was about 12.
So in coming down, that meant coming from Bullhead City to Phoenix, and you had to stay in Phoenix. So you had to have a support group and friends in Phoenix to help him and take care of him, which was lucky that it worked out that you had a lifelong friend in Tony living down here.
I mean, Tony is the one that got me convinced. He's like my big brother. And he told me he would be my caretaker because you can't hire somebody to be your caretaker. No matter how much money you got, you could be a billionaire. You cannot hire somebody to be your caretaker. And I'm all like, "No, Tony, you can't do that. You got 3 horses, 4 dogs." And he said, "Don't worry, I got it." I didn't even know I had to have a caretaker. Yeah. And for some reason, Tony found out before I did. And he's all like, "You need a caretaker, and I'm that one."
Yeah.
And I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, no, you can't do that.
It's someone who's literally devoting their life to ensuring that you're going to survive after this lung transplant.
Yeah,
and he had to volunteer out of the goodness of his heart to choose to do this. You could not pay someone.
Well, I think he kept me around to actually torment me.
He needs somebody to take care of these animals afterwards.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because the doctor told me I can't ever go around any kind of horse poop, cat poop, dog poop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I got a free pass on all that.
Now, is that because what's in the poop?
Oh, I can't even garden.
Oh, really?
Because
compost and manure.
the dirt will get in my lungs, and that could possibly screw them up, especially in this dirt out here because of the valley fever. But Tony, he's all like, "I'll take care of you. I got it. I'm all in." And I'm all like, "No, Tony." And he knew how to push my buttons. Well, he's always known how to push my buttons ever since we met each other. He goes, "Okay, you know I'm all in, but if you're a sissy and you're a pussy, excuse my language, and just afraid, then it's okay, I understand."
So to get to the point where you're actually able to be on the list and able to be poked and prodded and tested to find out.
That was about, I want to say 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it took about 4 months for them to actually do it. And then after that, I got told I had to go to the choice rehab because I'm an alcoholic. And I know I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not a practicing alcoholic no more.
So you had quit smoking anyways to
Yeah,
help try to improve your lung function.
Quit smoking December 25th.
Pretty much cold turkey.
It was cold turkey.
Okay.
I put them down and never picked them back up.
Yep. And then you got to the point where with the lungs, it was you can't get the lungs if you drink, period. And
2023, 4th of July, and that's when my lung collapsed, and that's the last time I ever really drank like we used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have a couple of fireballs and a couple of beers, but nothing like my 18 and 24 packs by myself.
So you get to the point where you got to go through this rehab. You have to now quit drinking completely because ultimately...
Andy's actually sending in a pee test at this point.
They're testing you? Yeah.
They're testing me, but they're testing me for a lot of other things too. Yeah, a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But I never got told I had to stop drinking. And they said, you got to quit drinking when you get your lungs. So Tony and I believed that's what they meant.
Yeah.
Well, after we was all done with the testing, Tony decided, let's celebrate. Have one of his platinum. I had one beer. And because I know I'm a full-blown alcoholic. One is too many and 1,000 is never enough. But we went back and the psychologist, that was the last person to interview me. Mm-hmm. And it was right after everybody said okay and stuff, but they had to get the psychologist okay too. Mm-hmm. And he asked me, so have you been drinking lately? And I said, not like I used to. Once in a while I had a couple of beers, but since I've been testing and everything, and about a month before that, I haven't really drank at all until we passed all my tests. Mm-hmm. And I was honest with that psychologist, and I'll tell you something, it's good to be honest, but sometimes it doesn't pay. But actually it did pay off because I am still in that class by choice.
Yeah, you don't have to get on the calls anymore.
No,
you want to be an active participant to help other people.
Yeah, I help other people,
yeah.
And that's the reason why I still keep on going.
Absolutely.
I want to be an advocate for transplants, and I want to be an advocate for donors.
Yep.
Down the road. He said, oh, I can understand that. And he walked out of the room. After our interview, he never said anything. And he went back to the board and said, I think he should do 6 weeks of choice. I mean, he never told me. He told the board, and the board told me. Sorry, you're kind of getting kicked out of the club until you do these 6 weeks of...
Like AA, I guess they would call it.
No, it's transplant people that have an alcohol or dependence.
Oh, there it is.
But it's... All of us have one thing in common.
Everybody's getting a transplant.
Yeah, everybody's getting some kind of transplant. I was the only one there for lungs. Most of them were livers and kidneys. And all of them were drinkers. I don't know how I got away with not needing all three, truthfully. And a bypass. Because I drank harder than probably anybody in that.
It's true.
I can't wait to be able to get back up on Williams for a moment.
Yeah.
I already have like 3 places I could stay. And I haven't even stepped up on the mountain. So it's pretty cool. To be that well loved.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You definitely have had a lot of people cheering you on. So you go through choice, you do the 6 weeks of that, and then, if I remember right, wasn't it dead on the other end of the line? You had no idea what was going on. Nobody was contacting you.
Well, halfway through, I told them would they send a letter of recommendation and try to get me on the list sooner. Yeah. And once they sent that letter in, they jumped right on it. St. Joe's is all like, we got you back on.
Nice.
I was on the list for maybe 2 months. Mm-hmm. I really think they were still waiting for me to finish the whole course.
Yeah.
And the choice to tell them I finished the course.
And it was the day after Thanksgiving, or was it after Thanksgiving weekend? You left Bullhead City to come back to Phoenix, and that's when you were officially back on the list.
Yep.
And so that was, you had 2 calls in the process of, hey, we think we have lungs for you, be ready?
Oh, yeah. They called it dry runs. Mm-hmm. One was all the way there and all the way into
pre-op,
OR.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, pre-op. I'm sitting there waiting for my gallon, And all of a sudden, after 7 hours maybe, they came back and went, the person decided to live. And I was like, good for them.
I was going to say, what a bittersweet situation that you're in. Yeah, no, because you, of course, want them to live, but on the other side of it, to be hoping to be getting lungs so that you can have a new...
It wasn't my time yet.
Yeah, but being in that situation where you're in, you're waiting for a set of lungs so that you can have a new lease on life. But what that means to get a new set of lungs, it's got to be such a hard spot to be in emotionally.
Well, I was dying. To know that somebody had to give their life to save my life is very humbling and very spiritually just connected. Went through those 2 dry warm-ups. One at the hospital, and the next one was just sitting around waiting for them to call me and say, yeah, get down here. So that was the easiest try.
Yeah, that's an easy.
Yeah, if I'm going to do dry runs, that's the ones I like. When I went in for this one, I got woken up, and she's like, Lonnie, are you ready to get your lungs? You guys need to be down here by 11. Didn't go into surgery until probably 8 or 9 that night.
Yeah.
And I came to at 2:30 in the morning, and that was New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
So as a little bit of background, what was kind of amazing about the whole thing is we talked to Lonnie the day before. Our friend B that he had talked about earlier, she calls him a master manifester. Anything that he wants, he gets. He may not get it by the time that he wants it, but he gets whatever he wants. And so we had talked to him the day before New Year's Eve.
It pays.
And he told us, he's like, I've got plans. I know what I'm doing now. I had a conversation with the big man. I know what I'm doing in life. I know why I'm here. I'm going to have new lungs by New Year's. And we're like, oh, that's good that you're thinking and you're hoping and you're staying positive.
They're like, yeah, keep that positive.
Yeah, keep being that way. And so then he called us in the morning. It must have been right after he got the call. But we had things going on. It was New Year's Eve. We didn't call him back. I think you called us later that evening.
It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And he's like, I'm laying here in pre-op waiting to go into surgery tonight. And it's like, what? And then you had your brand new lungs for New Year's. So they were in your body before it hit midnight. So it just really, really incredible.
Yeah, it was the last transplant of that year.
Yeah.
And the first recovery of this year.
Yeah.
In that hospital.
That's incredible.
I knew I was going to have my lungs before the stroke of midnight. And I was going to leave my old lungs in and bring in my new lungs. And by the grace of God, it was that way.
Yeah.
And they're right. I do manifest a lot of things.
Master manifester. B's always like, I need him to be my best friend because I need to get some of that energy from him. It's awesome.
If you just love, you'll be surprised how much love comes back to you. I mean, they're having me put my story out, and I wasn't even planning on it right now. And they're like, let's get the ball rolling. And we know you need to get these messages out. So by the grace of God, I got these friends to help me, and without me even asking, to get some of my message out. And one of my main messages is, please, if you're capable, it is your duty to be a donor. Those transplant people, they really deserve a chance at second life. If you donate, you give a person a second chance. And I know how it feels to be both. I have a donor sticker on my card, and I can't donate anymore, but I'm giving my body to science anyways. So they're taking my bone marrow and my skin. That's kind of creepy, but it's okay. But they won't take my organs, which I would think I got a good heart. I got brand new lungs. Why not take those and recycle them? Nope, it doesn't work like that.
It could be because of the anti-rejection medication. Yeah.
I'm on a lot of medication.
Yeah. And it's still an uphill battle. I mean, we're wearing masks.
It's only been 33 days.
33 days since his transplant.
And today's my birthday.
And we're celebrating his happy birthday, his now secondary birthday.
Yeah, well, it's my first birthday, January 1st, is my secondary. My little baby now, as my doctor says.
He gets to live life too.
Yeah, part two.
Part two maybe.
It's going to be a whole lot different than part one.
So tell us, I know it's still in the early stages. You're just barely, like you said, a baby, just barely starting to move around again and starting to think about exercising. You're moving great. You're doing way better than you were
They say that
before.
I'm doing better than most people that they've ever seen come. But I was out of the hospital in 22 days.
Yeah.
Most people are not even out of ICU in 22 days.
Yeah.
You should see my scar. It's pretty gnarly.
They'll be showing them off as soon as the staples come out.
Yeah, they call it the Chevy hood cut or the clam cut because they literally cut you and open you up and then cut your bone right down the middle and open that up. And that's how they slide your lungs in and out.
Crazy.
Pretty crazy. They slide one lung out and then they put one lung back in, hook it all up, and slide the other one out. Thank God I was asleep to it, but I tried to talk my doctor into wearing a go cam like that.
So you can see it.
So I could watch it. You know me, I'm demented that way.
I would have loved to see that surgery live.
Yeah, I would have too. I mean, the doctor's all like, I would like to do that for you, but by law, I can't do it. I'm all like, hell with the law, I'm giving you permission.
Right.
It's my surgery.
He's like, I can't do it, but it would be cool.
So what is life to you in these still very elementary stages of your healing? What does life look like to you in the future? What are you envisioning in your mind's eye?
It depends. I have to be really realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I stay in the present.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay in the present, you won't miss special moments in your life. And the present is the gift of life. Too many people think about the past, think about the future, but they're not thinking about today.
Is that your advice to getting through hard times? Is that how you got through it?
Yeah, stay in the moment all the way and give thanks for every moment. And you'd be surprised. One moment leads to another moment, to another moment, to a great time. And I still plan and stuff. I got a present tree over there that reminds me to stay in the moment. Mm-hmm. Today is my birthday, and I had a really bad night last night. I was having high blood pressure. I figured out what it was, though. I think I drank too many sodas last night.
Oh, you probably did.
I was worried that it was the stress of doing this interview. I was like, man, we should have done it yesterday so we wouldn't be losing sleep.
Are you kidding? I don't stress.
I was like, damn it.
I got over my stress a long time ago. 4 years of sitting in that house all alone on oxygen gives you a long time to reflect on yourself. Mm-hmm. And I did a lot of reflecting. Yeah. And I wish life would have been different growing up and everything, but see, it comes right back down to stay in the present. Yeah. You are who you are in the present. You have to accept yourself.
Love yourself.
You gotta love yourself. But if you can't love yourself, you have to admit to yourself who you are. That's the beginning of what is the healing. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe, you better believe in something. Go out and hug a tree. Mm-hmm. Go out and get kicked by a horse.
So ultimately, working like through choice and through hopefully trying to develop your own program and your own charity, you're hoping to bring up more awareness, not only for people becoming organ donors. You told us the day before your surgery that you knew you were going to get your lungs before New Year's, and that you knew what you were here for. You knew what your purpose in life was. You knew that you were going to survive. You're going to make it through this because now you have a purpose. You know why you're here. So what is that purpose?
Well, actually, I was sleeping like a week before New Year's, and I just woke up knowing. Mm-hmm. And because I seen it done in my mind's eye, and you guys know me, if I see it done, I know there's a will and there's a way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's going to be a foundation or a charity or just a private entity. People will give you $2 and then $2 a month for And as long as they want to keep on giving you $2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not actually going to start out with like asking you for $2 and her. I mean, it would take me a lifetime to build up a platform that could actually help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go to major stars like Taylor Swift, Jelly Roll, the people that really have a heart that they might be able to put my message out there and advocate for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Taylor Swift just mentions it once. All of her followers are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 1.5 million followers. I already know I'll be meeting her. You remember what you said in the part of this interview? I manifest things?
Yes, it's true. It's true.
I already know I'm going to meet her. And I'm going to meet Kelsey, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he'll be with her or she will be with him. However you look at it, it's kind of a gray matter there. I just know. I've seen it, a full-grown adult.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And if I choose to ask one person at a time, it's always going to stay an infant.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go to major players like The Rock,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to meet Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw a video of him yesterday, and he was just with the All Texas Country Boy.
Oh, that music video, yeah.
That was so badass. But that's what we need. We need heart. And those are the people that have heart. I mean, I don't know if you've ever listened to Jelly Roll,
Mm-hmm.
but that man's come from the streets,
Mm-hmm.
just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, I mean, I remember when you couldn't get into the artist industry
Mm-hmm.
if you wasn't a perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at it. They open the doors with love to just about anybody that can actually sing and have a story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's phenomenal in my book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this thing's all about, is opening those doors for things to get done and to help people.
The vision you see is that big name people are going to be helping you get those things done.
Oh, yeah.
And the charity work, you know, he wants to help people. And a lot of the reason I think he wants to help people because a lot of people helped him on his journey.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he wants to give back.
I wouldn't be here without all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the grace of God, I have more friends than you could shake a stick at.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, I know this will happen.
Mm-hmm.
If I just focus and do what I'm supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
it will all come together. And I do have a name for it.
And what's amazing, guys, is this is our second interview with somebody that's had a near-death experience.
Oh, I've had more than one.
And
I'm
it's all-
hoping these lungs come with another 9.
But what you hear out of the story is people finding their authentic self and embracing faith, really, and letting go and letting the universe take over and lead them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the present.
And staying in the present and being grounded is super important.
You have the dream in your mind, but stay present in each moment.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
only way you'll do it is be in the present. I mean, you could put it on paper all you want, but it's one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Small,
only way-
simple steps.
Yeah, the only way you go any place, I mean, you can run as fast as you want, but you're still putting one foot in front of the other. And that's still one moment at a time.
Kara and I have been trying to live in the present now for a good bit now. And just trying to live in the present moment.
Well, they've watched me live in the present because, hey, I was dead, so I better live for something.
Mm-hmm.
It's called United Services. And it's $2 a month to do something great for someone or something for the community. Like, once we get big enough, I want to start building playgrounds that will have somebody to overwatch it, especially if it's in a bad neighborhood. Some kind of security. It's really simplistic. I mean, you pay $2 and then you just
$2 a month, $24 a year to be in an organization that's going to help other people across the country.
I think it's pretty much a smoking deal. I don't think there's anything else out there.
And you always can donate more.
Yeah, I mean,
You have nothing established yet, right?
no, nothing.
So-
but we can give them email address.
I was gonna say, so if you are somebody or know somebody who can help Lonnie organize this.
So my email address is lonniethepainterofwilliams, all one line of words, and it's all small letters, @gmail.com.
And we'll put that in the show notes.
Definitely go to the blog for the
I
show
could
notes.
use any kind of help out there to get this ball rolling. Any suggestions are welcome. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and
Telegram.
All right, we'll have all of those links in our show notes. So if you are somebody who has an idea, you want to run it by Lonnie, support him. Yeah, or you want to start.
yeah,
giving
if you
the
just want to
foundation.
talk to me, I'm more than willing to tell you what I believe in and what I really would like to do, but still stay in the here and now at all costs, because that's all we're promised. We just lost a really, really good friend, just instantly. A brother of mine died of a heart attack on Friday. He was brother for 20 years, and you just never know when you're going to lose somebody, so always tell them that you love them. If you have a loved one, don't forget to tell them that you love them, and don't wait until the last moment to mend your fences, because you might not get a chance to mend those fences. It's better to be forgiven than hold a grudge. It's a lot easier. I think we're basically...
I think we're done.
You guys, thanks for listening. We love you.
Thanks for listening. Tune in. Send Lonnie some messages. He'd like to
Thank
hear
you
from
guys for your time and consideration.
And thank you, Lonnie.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.